I'm sorry, Piers, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official,
you don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
If you would have let me finish my comments, I would have pointed that out, but people have been pushing to make it official.
Okay,
right,
so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, we have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
I don't care how people feel about Bad Bunny's music. None of my business how you feel, because what you eat don't make me go to the bathroom. Now, for me, Bad Bunny's music is energetic. It's good for working out. It inspires me to keep moving, and I'm learning another language at the same time. So now I'm bilingual. Me mucho gusta bailar y me encantan las hamburguesas y los tacos, papi chula. Camaradita. So, but don't play. Azul.
They were like, why can't somebody from America do the halftime show? And look. Listen to me. The people screaming that are coming from a very specific place. They have watched the Super Bowl religiously, and the last few years have watched it get blacker. And I understand. After Kendrick, they were like, it's black now. Is it finally black enough? You blacked it. You did it. It's been blacked. All right. That's enough. It's been black, and I watched it. I didn't get it, but it was black, and you had it. Can we have one? Because I don't think you're going to get blacker. So it's got to be our turn again. And they thought, surely, their time was coming. You know, after Kendrick, next one got to be, you know what I mean? Yeah. Next one got to be the one that does that song with the twang to it that you really like. Gotta be. Come on, we even look. You did it. So I did all that rapping. I let rapping in my house just because it was a Super Bowl halftime show. That's as black as it's gonna get. I refuse to let it get any blacker. All right? These people were like, it can't possibly get blacker. And then they were like, all right, I'll raise you no English. Oh, you think you're mad now? Ooh, we gonna make you pray for Kendrick. We gonna make you. Ooh, Kendrick, please hit us with some symbolism. I don't even understand what's going on now.
You know, for so many years, the NFL has been avoiding non-English, cultural headliners as solo acts because they didn't want to give a chance to non-English singers or performers. But the only chance that they gave a non-English performer or singer, they told them what should have been done. And I think this was historical, similar to what Kendrick Lamar did last time. So this is one of the most important things that I'm getting to learn from all this Super Bowl halftime during the NFL. There's so much symbolism that was in the performance that me seeing white people getting outraged because the entire song was in Spanish, it's really diabolical. I think when you try to consume an art, you don't just listen to the words, you see the action because it's an act, it's a performance. And the performance that Bad Bunny gave, as I was watching the entire halftime show Super Bowl, I came to realize that there's so many deep meaning, right? There's so many deep meaning that happened. But let's talk about something which is crazy. Let's just ask a question. Why did white people so mad at that? Because some of them were saying that, that was a political bullcrap. That was not a performance. What did you expect? What did you expect? Because he tried to talk about historical things that happened to Latinos and Black people. You could definitely see the symbolism during the performance, and that tells you all of everything. And let's talk about the beats. Talking about you not listening to Spanish. Honestly, I don't understand Spanish, but the moment I hear Spanish music, I'm always on the dance floor because of the beats, because of the rhythm and how they move. Feel me? So it is really diabolical seeing a majority of white people so mad that the halftime Super Bowl show did not deserve somebody like Bad Bunny. But we need people like Bad Bunny, people who don't fall down to the corporate America. They're not like Maga Minaj, who disrespected, and now she's dividing the all Black American community. But hey, I want to switch this video. People's reaction, so hilarious. I want to switch this video. I'll be back and then I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. So let's keep watching.
Here in America, we speaks English. It's like you're barely speaking English right now.
The NFL has done it again. They have forgotten that they are a football organization and they are stepping off into political bullcrap again. And they've decided to let Bad Bunny perform at the Super Bowl.
They're letting Bad Bunny out of his cage. How dare the NFL? Did they forget that they're a billion-dollar sport?
Now, my issue with Bad Bunny has nothing to do with the fact that he is anti-Trump, anti-immigration laws in his country, anti-ICE. That is his prerogative.
And by the way, most of the country is anti-Trump, statistically speaking. He's got the lowest approval ratings of any president in the history of our young democracy. Those are facts.
He can feel however he wants about it. My issue is,
tell us.
He's performing at the Super Bowl, which is in the United States of America. And from my understanding, he only sings in Spanish.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Roger Goodell, did you know he only speaks in Spanish? English isn't our national language. We are a melting pot of diverse cultures. And no offense to, rappers out there, I don't understand half the words they're saying anyway, and who cares? I listen to tons of Latin music, and I don't understand a word they say. Once she sees Bad Bunny holding his little beer, doing his gyrating move with his hips, she'll change her mind. She'll get flustered as hell.
The people that are from America and live in America and watch the Super Bowl in America, they speak English.
People who call the United States of America, America, are the least cultured people you'll ever meet. And if you're one of them, just take this as a note, travel a little bit, because nobody calls the states, the United States of America, America. Americas is North America, Central America, and South America. There are literally dozens of countries in the Americas that center it, that like we're the center, main character of the story kind of idea that we have.
How are we supposed to understand what the man is even singing about?
She's got nice hair, though. We have very similar haircuts. How am I supposed to know the lyrics? You're going to make me Googles it?
I want to talk specifically about the political references in this halftime show that really got me. So, starting off, we're in the sugarcane fields of Puerto Rico, just diving right into the historical context of colonialism in the Caribbean, the history of slavery in the Caribbean, the exploitation of our land and our natural resources for the economic gain of the empire. Now we're in New York City, Nueva York. And then Benito just waltzes up to go take a shot with who? Toñita. Who's Toñita? This is a real Puerto Rican woman who lives in Brooklyn and owns something called the Caribbean Social Club, which is one of the last standing Puerto Rican establishments in Williamsburg, which has been a hugely gentrified neighborhood of New York City, which was always traditionally Puerto Rican. She herself has almost been kicked out many times, but refuses to sell. She's an icon of fighting gentrification in Nueva York. The part of the show that hit us Boricuas the hardest, Ricky Martin.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa, quieren el barrio mío y que abuelita se vaya. No suelte la bandera ni olvide el Lelolai, que no quiero que hagan contigo lo que me pasó a Hawái.
Ricky Martin from Puerto Rico just sang a Bad Bunny song saying, I don't want to happen to us what happened to Hawaii. A blatant call for independence and sovereignty and decolonization of Puerto Rico. And then we go straight into this. Actually simulated the problems with our power grid in Puerto Rico, which is a direct consequence of us being a colony, and the privatization of our power grid by the USA. Then Bad Bunny emerges from the fields carrying the Puerto Rican flag, but not just any Puerto Rican flag. This is the light blue Puerto Rican flag, which is the original colors. And this is the flag that they banned. And that we were only allowed to get our flag back when they changed it from light blue to that navy royal blue to match the blue in the American flag. But by waving this flag, this is our original flag, again referencing our own sovereignty.
A mi puebla, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
And ending it with Seguimos aquí, which means we're still here. Even though you're trying to colonize us and gentrify us out of our own island, Seguimos aquí.
Maybe the reason that Trump doesn't like Bad Bunny is because Bad Bunny, unlike him, isn't a Nepo trust fund baby. Yeah. Just 10 years ago, this is amazing to me. Just 10 years ago, Benito Martinez Ocasio, Bad Bunny, was bagging groceries at a supermarket in San Juan and uploading his music to YouTube. And 10 years later, here he is at the biggest stage in the world. Yeah. And one of the things he said in the concert was, in the halftime show, was that the reason he was there is because he had belief in himself. And he urged the rest of us to believe in ourselves. Yeah. And every time Bad Bunny has gone on stage, from the very beginning, when he started getting awards, when he started going to concerts, he always thanked the Latino community that was behind him. And last night, he delivered. Every time he's gotten asked how you feel about the Super Bowl, the word that came out of him was grateful. I got to tell you, when I saw Ricky Martin come out there, and I mean, that
he looked good too.
When I saw Ricky, and he was singing the most poignant song, which is about, I don't want for Puerto Rico to go through what Hawaii has become. Cuando Ricky se soler, ese lelolai, por poco me da algo. But he was, I really can't. And there were so many people texting me yesterday on my timeline who told me they were weeping. And I can't overstate what it means to the Latino community that has seen itself persecuted, attacked, racially profiled. We have seen for the last year our children dragged through the streets. We have seen our pregnant women, our elderly dragged through the streets, disappeared and detained. To have Bad Bunny use that platform to say, do not otherize us. We are all part of America, and we are all equal, and we all belong, and love is stronger than hate.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
To have him give that little Grammy, the Grammy to the little boy that represents, there's 3,800 children in detention centers right now. So the different symbolisms of, of having Ricky there, who's part of a different generation of, but knows what it's like to go around the world without losing his heritage, always knowing where he comes from, being proud of his roots. Micro joys help us deal with macro sadness. I have had macro sadness for over a year under Trump, seeing what he has done to my community and what he continues to do to my community. I am so grateful to Bad Bunny for having given me that micro joy, and I will see that halftime show. I've seen it 5 times already.
Yeah, same.
Are you excited to see Bad Bunny at the Super Bowl halftime show? Be a big negative. So when I came out dancing to Bad Bunny at the very beginning of my set, you were like, I don't like this guy. What's up, Toledo, Ohio? How we doing? I wanted to experience what Bad Bunny is going to feel at the Super Bowl halftime show. Just white people disappointed immediately. What's that?
I don't even know his music. I didn't.
You don't even. Oh, you didn't. Oh, interesting. So you don't even know his music.
No, I just seen something on Facebook the other day.
But you don't like him, even though like you don't know his music.
Huh? No.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. But how do you know if you don't like him? Because you've seen him before. You're making this way worse. I saw him and I said I don't like that guy. I don't care what his music sounds like. I don't care how talented he is. His name is Bunny. I don't like any Bad Bunnies, okay? What kind of music do you like?
94.5.
94.5. I don't know your local station. Right? Radio stations are not the same everywhere. You have 94.5, right?
Classic rock.
It's classic rock.
Classic rock.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so you like AC/DC,
You know that?
Van Halen, the Leonard Skinner,
Sabbath thrown in there.
a little bit of Black Sabbath thrown in there. And gathered in their masses. What if Bad Bunny did a cover of that? You still wouldn't like Bad Bunny? You still wouldn't like him.
He said, God bless America, and listed every single country in America in Spanish. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio performed the entire Super Bowl halftime show in Spanish, and at the end, in English, said, God bless America, and listed every single country in America in Spanish. Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio performed on national TV at the Super Bowl halftime show in Spanish, and at the end said in English, God bless America, and listed every single country in America in Spanish, with the football in his hand that said, together we are America. It is very difficult to not get emotional, especially in a time where the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, and the Republican Party on a daily basis are demonizing immigrants, are demonizing Latinos, are demonizing every single brown person in the United States of America. And I wasn't sure that Bad Bunny was going to make a political statement. That entire halftime performance show was a political statement. And there are way more details and symbolism if you dissect the show. But the fact that Bad Bunny on national TV in one of the biggest day in sports performed in Spanish, and at the end said, "God bless America," and listed every single country in America in Spanish with the football in his hand that said, "Together we are America." Best halftime show ever.
That's it. I refuse to watch the Super Bowl halftime show. Fucking Bad Bunny is trying to kill me. Literally. I decided to listen to his music. I would give it a chance, right? Because I've never listened to that. It's not in my wheelhouse. It's not my style of music, but I decided I'm going to listen to it because the halftime show is coming up and he's one of the biggest artists in the world. So let me put it on while I take a shower. Well, that was a mistake because that music is so infectious, so danceable that I couldn't help myself. I was shaking my hips. I was dancing in the shower. I nearly slipped and died. So fuck Bad Bunny. I can't watch the halftime show when this man is literally trying to kill me. But seriously, though, nobody cares. Nobody cares whether you watch the halftime show or not. Watch it, don't watch it. It doesn't matter. Bad Bunny doesn't give a shit. The NFL doesn't give a shit. They will continue to make money. The NFL is the biggest sport in the world. Turn it off. They don't care. Bad Bunny is the biggest artist in the world. Turn it off. He doesn't care. They're still going to make money. Do whatever the fuck you want. And I will 100% be watching the halftime show. That was just...
Guess we're not watching the Super Bowl because Bad Bunny's performing and he's gonna do it in Spanish. Then don't watch it. Because you weren't complaining when Puerto Rico sent $4 billion to the United States in federal taxes that go into your Medicare and your Social Security. You weren't complaining when the men and women of Puerto Rico fought in every war and died for this country. You weren't complaining when the Puerto Rican women were sterilized and experimented on so you can have birth control. Puerto Ricans pay 11.5 sales tax and have no representation in Congress. What happened to no taxation without representation? You see, El Conejo Malo is American, and he's performing the Super Bowl for us Americans. Okay? And if you don't like it, arranca pa'l carajo, puñeta. Okay? Because we're all gonna be there. Que viva Puerto Rico, cabrón.
Quieren quitarme el río y también la playa. Quieren el valle mío y que abuelita se vaya. No, no, suelte la bandera. Yo really feel like que no quiero que hagan contigo lo que has bajado. Ay, no, no, suelte la bandera. Yo really feel like que no quiero que hagan contigo.
I wanted to make a comment about the halftime show. The people who are complaining about it being in Spanish, the album that was a top winning award was all in Spanish. You wouldn't ask an opera singer, an Italian opera singer, to convert her song into English. That's ridiculous. In the 50s, blacks would go overseas. Blues singers, jazz singers. They sang in Paris and France. They sang in English. This whole thing about the Spanish is just a made-up controversy, and it's unfortunate. The most important thing he said at the end was in English. God bless America. We have to stop being so discriminatory toward anything that's not like us all the time. It was a great performance. It was all love. You did not need to be able to speak English to understand it. Thank you.
This is the audience's response to Bad Bunny's performance at the Super Bowl. When you do an entire show in Spanish, don't expect the American people to react much to it. And as you can see in the video, only a couple of people were even dancing or reacting to this in any way. But the polls are in. Americans favored Kid Rock over Bad Bunny, without question.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you're doing great from wherever you're watching us from. I want to talk about the symbolism that was indeed involved in the Super Bowl performance, the halftime show by Bad Bunny. There was so much historical and cultural visibility which showed identity. Bad Bunny's halftime show was a major cultural because it centered Spanish language, Caribbean visual motifs, and Latino heritage on one of the world's most watched entertainment stages. The show incorporated symbols like recreated Puerto Rican market, traditional music influences, flags of nations across the Americas, and explicit celebration of Puerto Rican pride. Yeah, there are so much Caribbean visual motifs because we could see the sugarcane plantation, and the sugarcane plantation showed you how when these people reached Americans shows, they started working on the farms of these people. And this also shows you how Jamaicans, the Caribbeans with its entirety, they are all put into these farms to work, right? And this shows you the symbolism which was here. And also another thing is a performance which was so much rooted in the Puerto Rican history, because according to cultural analysts, Bad Bunny's use of specific flags and imagery, it wasn't random. For example, the use of specific flags and imagery, for example, it displayed a version of the Puerto Rican flag tied to claims of independence and resistance, referencing a time when displaying the flag was criminalized. Ending the show with "Together, we are America," which highlighted a message of inclusion across cultures while still affirming his roots. The language that was used, because a lot of people expected Bad Bunny to perform. Actually, if you get to realize, people showed up at the Bad Bunny's show, the Super Bowl halftime show, one of the most watched since the show started. It is one of go check it out. It is one of the most watched. And ask yourself, why is it one of the most watched? Although, ironically, Bad Bunny didn't perform using English. It is because there's a message that people are trying to send to Mr. Donald Trump. And we are trying to tell you that we are not supporting anything that you align up with. Right? So the TPUSA thing, the rock show that people were supposed to go and watch or anything, didn't even match what Bad Bunny was giving the people. Didn't even match. Right? So, for many Black and Latino viewers, hearing Spanish at such a huge event without translation was empowering because it validated linguistic diversity as part of American popular culture. But for some viewers who expected English-dominant mainstream entertainment, they felt unfamiliar or jarring. I was so happy seeing Black people moving out massively, showing support to the Latino community. That's so one of the most important things that I also observe. My hope is just that also you Latino, you give back the flowers to Black people for showing up, for standing with you, and for celebrating all these important tapestry that was being showed in front of the world. Redefining American identity, but Barney closed his set by waving flags from across Americas, naming countries aloud and holding a football with the phrase "Together we are America." That visual and rhetorical choices symbolizes a broader, more inclusive idea of American identity, one that acknowledges the contributions of Latin America and Caribbean cultures to the United States. So you might ask yourself, why did some viewers so much outraged, especially we saw a lot of white people being outraged, some being bored, some acting like they don't want to listen to anything that's going on. Yeah, we had that. Much of the backlash was political and cultural rather than purely about music. Public figures like former US President Donald Trump criticized the performance as an affront to the greatness of America, or terrible, arguing it didn't fit traditional expectation for the halftime show. That tells you a lot of things. That tells you a lot of things. So symbolism seen as politics by critics. Yeah, elements like the emphasis of Spanish, the focus of Puerto Rican history, and the celebration of the multicultural identity were labeled by some critics as divisive or political. This is a recurring pattern which has been happening. When a performance highlights experiences or identities that challenges the status quo, some audiences interpret that as an attack on neutral or traditional cultural rather than a reflection of a diverse American realities. Some conservative groups even staged or promoted alternative halftime events with very different themes, emphasizing traditional or all American imagery rather than Latino cultural expression. These responses underscores how the same performance can be interpreted very differently depending on cultural worldview and expectation. So despite the backlash, many celebrities and media figures praised the show for its energy, representation. We had people like Lady Gaga. We had people like I'm a person that consumes a lot of Spanish music, so definitely I saw a lot of Spanish singers that I know. I also saw Lady Gaga. I also saw Cardi. I saw a lot of people, right? So funny thing is that Caribbean offered himself to perform as a dancer. He offered like to dance in the music of, Bad Bunny, which is really great, which has really worked out for her, right? So there's so much going on. There's so much going on. But what I like about this is that it showed the truth that everyone needs to know. And this was one of the most important things that have happened so far. Even though Trump is now trying to, use Obama, make Obama look like an ape and everything, trying to show his racist rhetorics, but people are seeing them for who they are. And the truth is coming out. Thanks to Bad Bunny for that performance, for that good performance, for that artistry and what it meant, right? So, let me know what you think about this video, right? See you on my next video.